And now from all the fun of the fair to someone who's also been used to lighting up audiences since he was a boy. American jazz has gone on becoming an artist. Earlier this year he performed to thousands at Glastonbury Festival. Alan's been to meet him.
It's a miracle, I would say, that we're both here in the same place at the same time. You are a busy man.
Yeah, I've been traveling around the world quite a bit. Yeah.
How many concerts this year?
250 something. Quite a bit.
And you're still smiling?
Yeah, I'm strong. I come from good stock, I tell you.
You do. And a first for you this year, performing in Glastonbury.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It's an iconic music festival. To be on stage and have that incredible audience in front of me was an extraordinary musical experience, one of the highlights of my career.
Ain't no need for moonlight, ain't no need for street light.
How difficult is it to have kind of a relationship with God, if you like, when you're traveling all over the world? Yeah. There's no time to go to a set church or anything like that.
You know, people always leave my concerts like, oh, I feel like I was in church. It's in my music, it's in me, you know. If an emotional feeling and a connection with the audience and a spiritual connection with God happens, it just happens. If that idea is in the music and there's a cool rhythm behind it and there's a soaring vocal, people will get it.
There is a spirit deep down inside, longing to be set free.
How did you feel when you were a kid, when you were singing?
Not powerful, but I felt like I had something. I felt like I had something that nobody could take away. I had a gift. My mother would talk about it as a gift.
A gift from God?
Yes. And I always felt like I had, no matter what I was going through or how I felt or, I could just pull out a song and sing to myself and nobody could take it away from me. Yes, somebody could tell me to be quiet, but, then I sing quietly, And there's always something that would lift my spirits.
It's time we hear that voice of yours sing now. What are you going to perform?
I will do When Love Was King.
What does this mean to you?
This is who I am. It's what I believe, and I guise it in a story, The message of mutual respect, kindness, and being thoughtful is in the lyric, and that's what I think.
When love was king, do you remember when love was king? He ruled the land with his fist unfurled, with open arms for the world of hungry children. First he'd think to pull their lives from the brink. He rescued souls that were lost in the sea. In drifting vessels, he would hear their plea. He threw a line before they would sink and gave the thirsty ones a drink. He told the meek that they should try to use the sword to smite the lie, that being kind is for the weak. I pray the Lord these words we seek. He had respect for every man. regardless of his skin or clan. Beside him stood his mighty queen, an equal force, wise and keen. He lifted up the underneath, and all his wealth he did bequeath to those who toiled without a gain, so they would remember his reign. Oh, so seek some place to call your own, right beside this mighty shining throne, when love was king. Oh, when love was king.
Wow, what a voice. Still to come, train enthusiast Pete Waterman tracks down the story of how a country vicar created the world's best-loved steam engine. But first, we've music from Edinburgh.
Pete Waterman is well known as a music producer, but did you know he's also a huge railway enthusiast who was raised in a devoutly Christian family? So who better to find out about the faith that lies behind the creation of the world's favourite little steam engine?
Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends were created by the Reverend Wilbur Awdry, and this year is the 70th anniversary of the first publication.
My dad read me all the stories. In fact, he read them that many times I learnt them palate fashion. He always thought I could read, but I just remembered the stories. So when I left school at 14, I could neither read nor write, but I did know Thomas the Tank Engine stories. Good old Thomas.
Today, Thomas and his friends are more popular than ever. I've come to meet the Reverend Audrey's daughter, Veronica, here at the house where he used to live.
It's really quite humbling, I think, for us as a family to realise the effect that it has had on children and parents.
So how are you celebrating the 70th year of Thomas?
It's just a coming together of the community of Rodborough to celebrate stories, a person, joy really.
Why did he actually write the first book?
It came about quite by chance actually. My brother got measles and he was only 2, and father got a bit of paper and drew some engines, and Christopher asked questions. Why is he sad? Well, all the other engines are big and strong and they get chosen first. What's his name, Daddy? First name that came into father's head was Edward. And so between them, they built up a story about Edward's day out. Thomas wasn't in the very first book, but Thomas has become the cheeky representative. And quite right, I think.
Do you think your father wrote these as a moral episode?
He felt very strongly that this was God's world, and there are rules. If you want to break them and do something that's not quite right, then that's up to you. But there will be consequences.
Henry, James and Gordon were miserable. They had been shut up for several days for being naughty.
Because I was from a very religious family, and they definitely saw that these books, for me as a young child, that it would teach me the rules. And it has.